All right, working out in these desert regions is a real threat from time to time, and let me show you why. Here's our machine parked here, safe and sound, and right next to it is a beautiful diamondback rattlesnake. So you just gotta watch your step.
This ain't that bad.
What's going on, everybody? It's Ralph with Pondscapes coming at you with another pond build, and we are way out in West Arizona, basically East LA, I would say. We're that far away from home, and we've got a really cool project that we're going to get started with right now. Okay guys, what we are working on is something really, really cool. The homeowners are huge tortoise and turtle collectors and breeders, and they've got a really cool property dedicated to these animals, but they want something just for themselves. So what we're gonna be doing is a 25-foot long by 18 feet across, 4 feet deep pond with a nice intake bay. We've got our Waterfall 6000s right here behind me. We're gonna have 2 of those Waterfall 6000s because we're gonna be around 10,000 gallons of water, and we want to make sure that we optimize that filtration. We're gonna have some lights, circulation jets. This thing is going to be awesome, and we gotta get moving. So let's walk through our footprint and see what our hurdles look like on this one. All right, so we've got a really wide open space. Really the only known hurdles that we have at this moment is where the machines are parked just behind. There is a leach field, so we can't really have heavy weight. We can't drop boulders right here. That's all right. We can drop boulders right up there by the front truck and shuttle them back. We can work around this tree and come in over here. So that is the extent of our hurdles. We've got plenty of space to work with, lots of staging area, and so the idea is to have a couple waterfalls over here, the pond here, intake bay right over here, future patio built like off to adjacent to the intake bay. All right, we have the shape of the pond laid out. We've got our extension cords kind of laid out in the outline and painted it out. So just a standard kidney bean. We're trying to maximize the pond footprint inside this 25 by 18 mark out. And you can see we've got our biofalls are set up. We're actually going to drop that biofalls down about 8 inches just to offset the elevations of them. And then over here, we've got our intake bay set up. We're going to have 9 small aqua blocks, 2 pump vaults, and we'll have extensions put on those as well. We're going to be running 3 pumps, 1 pump dedicated to each waterfall, and then a 3rd pump dedicated to circulation jets. And then the pond will also have lighting and aeration, fish caves. This thing is going to be dialed in. It is going to be the crown jewel of Wittmann. We are looking pretty good. Now, the machine came in a little bit late, right, Blake?
That's right, Bob.
But we got it.
We did.
Okay, stay positive. All right, so we got pretty much the shape of the pond pulled out. Biofalls are set. Plumbing is run. Right there is where the intake bay is going to be. And what we did is we potholed, basically test dug the final depth. So from water, that's 50 inches deep, so we can have 48 inches of water when it's all said and done.
It's kind of windy out here, boss.
It is windy. Where's your lead shoes?
I don't know, but I need my lead hat.
All right, now what we're gonna do is I'm heading out. I gotta go tag the boulders so they can get delivered tomorrow. The guys are going to finish mounting this up, compacting all of this, and there'll be some rock work up in here. these biofalls are going to come together and make a cool pooling area and then final splash into the pond when we get to that point. We are back at it this morning, and it is shaping up to be an awesome day because we've got tons of cloud coverage, and we need to keep that because it's still gonna break 100 today, and it rained last night. Super humid, but as long as that cloud coverage stays here, we're gonna be happy. All right, let me show you what's going on. All right, here we are. We have got that fish cave installed. So a little bit different setup than some of the fish caves you may have seen us do in the past. This one is actually recessed quite a bit back, so that gains a little more coverage. And then on each end, we've got the flow cell blocks where we had to just kind of carve those to fit into place. Because we've got to keep the gravel from going inside there. So now that we've got that flow cell, this will actually, allow some circulation. We're going to backfill with gravel. We've got that on both sides. And then we're going to be able to put some type of rock work over the top of that. And I'd like to put something that projects out. So it kind of almost puts a little bill over that to, it's like an awning. Yeah. You know, it's like an awning to give the fish a little patio. So we've got that set. We've got this one. We'll have to do some rock work to make that go away. And that does it for the bottom of the pond as far as our perimeter boulders. So now we've just got to keep working our way up and out. Got to install those circulation jets, push in some plumbing lines for our aeration and some lights. And what else? Anybody? Just keep rocking. All right, guys, we had a really good day of production yesterday, even though we had all of the rain to deal with and the muddy mess that surrounded us, but now it is bone dry out, typical Arizona. Now what we've got going on, we pumped out all the water in the floor of the pond. We're doing some cobble washout spots. So you can see the guys created this washout, and then right over there in front of Devontae, we'll do another one washing out right there. We've got the circulation jet going all the way to the bottom, and we're getting our pipe set up. Hey Ryan, pretty smooth. So we'll have some decorative floor accents, and then that'll help break up the monotony of that small gravel. And then under that rock right there, you can see we've got kind of a gap. So we also want to do away with that gap that's there. So these cobble pieces will help do that. All right, now you can see from this viewing angle, the pond is 4 feet deep. You can see how tall that is over there. We still have to come up one more level behind that rock right there. So that rock is just below water level. So today, once all the plumbing is done, the lights are installed, aeration is hooked up. We've got a diffuser there and a diffuser sitting right in there. So that'll be great for that aeration. And then of course the circulation jets will help push that water around. But once we get all that installed, then we can continue working our way around the edges with the rock work, and then get up out and start building that waterfall. All right, guys, yesterday we made some great progress. We got a good amount of rock set. We got aeration installed. We got some circulation jets installed. We got some lights installed. The floor of the pond is done. It's time to move on to something that's not as fun, but super, super important. We are moving on to the intake bay, and we've got to seam a section of liner on. Now, what we've got is our layout of our intake bay. So here's the aqua blocks. We're going to use 12 aqua blocks on this intake bay. We want this to be a nice big intake, and we have a couple rocks picked out to create the choke points for the water to come in. Now this is real close, but here's an example. We'll have a rock like this and like this, actually these ones, and there'll be a space where water draws in between them. So we're going to situate those rocks right about here and right about here, and we'll have approximately about a 3-foot wide opening to draw that water into that cove. And then we're going to shelve this out. We'll have the space next to the aqua blocks, so boulders will set on the shelf, and so the aqua blocks are not taking on all of the weight of whatever rocks come in there. Now what we have to do is we have to seam on a section of liner. So you see we've got our planks laid out, and we've got our primer. Here is our Firestone primer. We have some cover tape. This is the tape, the single side tape that goes on to cover our seam, and then we've got a roll of the double-sided tape. So the double-sided tape is what will actually perform the seam, and then the single-side cover tape that will go over the seam, overlap that, and add some extra protection. So what we want to do is we're going to go right through here, get another 12 feet off of this edge of the pond, push that out, and we'll be ready to rock that thing in. Right now what we're doing is fine-tuning the levels and the grades on our intake bay. So I'm going to take you step by step what we do to create these intake bays. Okay, we have the majority of everything set in place. Like I said, we're just fine-tuning. These vaults were just a little high, so the aqua block sitting over that foot had about a 1/2-inch gap, and we didn't like that. That was not sitting flush. But what we're doing is we're taking into consideration the height of the aqua blocks. These are 9.5 inches high, so we'll just round up and call it 10. And then we want 10 inches of water above the aqua block, and so really that'll be essentially 8 inches of water, because there'll be a couple inches of gravel on top of this floor in here. Now so that's 10 inches for the aqua block, another 10 for the water, so that's 20 inches below grade that the bottom of that aqua block has to be dug out to. And then what we want is 3 to 5 inches of elevation above water level to keep all that water inside the system. So what we've got is our rock pad down first, our liner, and then a layer of the fabric, and then our aqua blocks. Here you can see we've got a scrap piece of liner put in here. When we excavated this hole, instead of doing a shelf coming up and down and coming up, over, down, and across, what we do is we just dig this elevation straight back, and that soaks up less liner and makes it cleaner, easier to work with. And then we put this scrap piece of liner in front of the aqua blocks, because you see how this is open, it's perforated. Water would flow inside right here. We want to encourage that top skimming, so we'll have a rock situated here, rock situated here. We'll have between a 2 and 3 foot opening, and that's where that water will skim through. If this was all open, it would just draw a little less aggressive and not really give us that good surface skimming. So that's why we have this liner in here, and we'll trim it back according to we'll just make a straight cut across there, and then we do our rock work in here to dam it all up. So right now the guys are flipping that liner back over and we'll get these pump vaults installed. Today is going to be a great day. Number one, check out all this cloud coverage. That's nice. And another great thing that's happening today, we are getting water. Big water truck is gonna come and fill up the pond. Of course, we cleaned that out before we left on Friday. And we're doing some perimeter rock work to get up and out of the pond. We're almost there. We got about 4 rocks to set, and then the water truck will be here. And then it's basically detailing out the intake bay and then coming over here and starting working on the waterfall. All right, big day today. We are working on finishing up the edges of the pond and rocking in that last little bit on the intake bay. We're gonna do a real cool beach entry egress situation and a low edge for the potential of rain runoff. We have the rain events out here in the desert. They come down fast and hard. So instead of that water coming up over the edges of the pond, we want to put a low edge right here with to align with the natural slope of the property and have it run off the backside, and it'll cascade and go down towards the back of the property. So we're not keeping that water next to the edges of the pond. All right, today is the day. We are going to be wrapping up, finishing things on this pond. So it is kind of bittersweet. I'm not gonna miss the commute. I think Ryan will. He slept most of the time. What we are working on is detailing out the waterfalls. So this right side is pretty much all done. There's a couple little things that I want to do to tweak it. Obviously, we need to hide the biofalls up there. But over here on the left side, we got all that chunked in. We've got to foam in our 2 layers and drop a rock in. I think that guy right there is going to go in this place. And then now it's time to bring in dirt work over to this edge. So you can see we've got where our machine is set. That was reaching all the way over to set these boulders on the far opposite side of the pond. So we had to kind of build this in segments instead of starting from the bottom, work our way up. For the whole thing, we had to do one waterfall at a time just because of the space. Now we had a wide open area. We could have brought our small excavator in on this side, but it wouldn't be able to handle some of the bigger boulders that we wanted to create this waterfall. So that's kind of why we did that process. And now we'll be finishing hooking up the lights. You can see the pond is looking fantastic. This is over the course of close to a week with water in it and no real filtration. It's only circulation jets and the aerators. These biofalls have not really been working. We did a bacteria dosing yesterday. Actually, the water quality from yesterday to today is much better just from that one dosing. So over the time of regular routine dosing and consistent operation of the waterfalls and filtration, this thing will be crystal clear in no time. All right, guys, that is a wrap. So happy with the way this turned out. All right, so we've got these two beautiful waterfalls. Got this gorgeous 25-foot long by 18-foot across, 4-foot deep pond. The awesome intake bay. We've got 3 pumps running this, 2 5PLs for our waterfalls, a 3PL for those circulation jets. Then we've got that Pro Air 60 for our aeration that's hooked up right over there. We've also got a bunch of lights in here. We've got like 9 underwater lights. We've got like 11 outside path lights. So this thing has a lot of the bells and whistles. And what's coming up next is a patio is going to be built over there to give them a place to hang out and just enjoy this beautiful pond. All right, guys, you know the drill. That's it for us on this project. Let us know what you thought down below. Make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.